Welcome guys, HackMods here with lesson 7 of the tutorial playlist of C++. Today we'll be creating a rainfall calculator and we'll be using do while loop iterations. What else we'll be using? Single dimensional arrays, variables, and that will pretty much cover this lesson. In the next lesson we'll be doing multi-dimensional arrays. Okay, so first off I'll show you the program that we're creating. While it keeps asking what month we want to input the value for, that's called iteration as it rolls through with a while loop. And we'll be learning that today, and we'll be using an array of 12 which covers the 12-month variables that we'll be storing the data into. Okay, so that's basically what the program is going to do. So there, it's going to output the yearly total average rainfall in millimeters, and the same as in inches. It's going to output the highest rainfall for the year in millimeters, as well as the month that gathered that, as well as the month for lowest and the month that it was used. Using the program that I created, the batch file to auto document write. The link will be in the description if you want to get a copy of that. Okay, so first we'll be using include pound header statements with include IO stream, include IMN IP, and include string, as well as con IOH. We'll be using namespace standard. All these things are requirements of the C++ package program. And we'll be using int main, and inside the int main we'll be setting a variable with a constant double in inches, and it'll be 25.4. A float data type with millimeters and result as the variable. After that, in the next line, we'll be setting a string. Now, this is where we start doing arrays. So we'll be setting a string data type with months, and the array will be 12 inside the square brackets. And that equals January, February through March inside the braces. So the diagram I'm drawing will depict the memory blocks that the array sets the values and variables into, and the indexing system. Okay, so this is a memory block, and it's addressed by the index. Okay, so now it's an array. We've set the array name, which we set was months. So now in each memory block, in each index, we'll set January, February, March, April, May through to December, and that'll be the 12 variables that we can store values to. Okay, and so now that we've done that, we've got the index, which is the addressing system for the memory blocks. So it would be addressed by pointers, and the addresses would be such as 0x 00, 0x 01, 0x 02, and that they're memory addresses, and they're allocated by the array, which stores the variable values. Okay, so now the program asks the user to input a value into each array as it iterates down through the process. So we enter random values. I'll just quickly knock out a few values that we're going to store into these variables in the array for each index in each memory block. Okay, so I'm nearly done. And this is how we allocate memory blocks within an array in an iteration. This is known as a single dimensional array. Multi-dimensional arrays we'll cover in the next lesson. To set this up, you would type it such as data types, like we have data type, which is string, and then the variable name. So we've used months, and we've set the array inside the square braces with a value of 12 array into iterations. So it's going to iterate 12 times, and it's going to store the values that we iterate into memory, and it's going to store them into January, February, March, April, May through to December, and they will be separated by commas and quotation marks surrounding each array index. Okay, I'll just quickly type this out. Just bear with me so you understand what we're doing. So we've got January, February, March through to December, and they're the 12 pointers for the array in memory, and they're variables. 12 variable locations within the array. And they'll be addressed by the index. below, as we've just covered. So I hope this clears it up a little bit what an array is. We'll go more into depth with them with multi-dimensional arrays in the next lesson. But continuing on now, we'll add a few more variable types. So first off, we've got float, three float data types with rain totals with an array of 12. And then we'll have a total rain with a value of 0, average rainfall equals 0, highest rainfall equals 0, lowest rainfall equals 999, and then a string highest month and a string lowest month. And then we'll set a string data type with a cap array of 2, and the index of 0 will be millimeters and the index of 1 will be inches. Okay, now to do the iteration using the loop. Okay, so we set up a for loop, and inside the condition we set int I equals 0, and then we close that with a semicolon. Then I, for the initialization, we set I less than 12, so that sets it only iterates through 12 times, and then I++, so it rolls through once, stores the value into January, rolls through twice, stores it into February, 3 times into March, and so on down to December. This is achieved by the program asking the user for input with a cout statement that we put inside the iteration block, which will state enter the rainfall for the total for month, and then it'll call the iteration of the month using the array. So first question will be enter the rainfall for January, then February, then March, then April, as it rolls down through the block. Okay, so then we set up another for loop, store values into the float data type using the total rain array, which also contains an array index of 12. So this loop will be asking, it'll be calculating the rain total plus equals the rain total. So therefore, in each iteration, January it'll store what the user inputs, and then February, as it iterates down the block, it'll iterate the February's amount, it'll plus that to it, and so forth, February, March, April, May, and all the way down through to December. So you end up with a grand total, issuing cout statements to capture to output the findings based on the user's input. Okay, so we've got a simple cout with a new line, an end line, and then we've got average rainfall equals rain totals. So rain totals is the variable. Remember, we set it as a float. Okay, divided by 12, so we get the average. Okay, next line we put millimeters equals average rainfall, which is the variable. And then we got results equals millimeters divided by inches. So therefore we get the total in inches and millimeters. Then we simply put out, this is just some niceness that I put into it, so you can break it up, but you put whatever you like. I've just got simple cout statements with asterisks just to break the column headers up. And then I've got yearly total average rainfall millimeters, and then a tab with fixed set precision using IOMAN IP header. We'll store the highest value into highest rainfall variable, which was a string. Okay, so highest month, sorry. So highest rainfall will get if it's greater than high rain totals in the iteration, so it rolls through and checks if the value that they enter is higher than the last one, and so on all the way down the iteration block. And then from there it will store it into the highest one, same as with the lowest one. Say that January has a value of 1 millimeter for rain, and December has 100. So now when it rolls through on the highest iteration, it's going to check if January is higher than February, February is higher than March, March is higher than April, and so on, and same way down with the second iteration. So it'll check if the last value is smaller and smaller until it finds the smallest value. And from there, that'll store into the string variable named highest and lowest months. Now all it's a matter of doing is echoing out some cout statements that'll declare to the user what the application is found from based upon what the user has inputted. So it's going to declare that highest month equals the string that we've stored, and it's done the iteration using the for int loop, and it's got the highest month, and it's calculated the rainfall for the lowest month, and it's brought its month up as a display, and the same as the average in inches, millimeters, and that's pretty much got it for this application. Okay, so my doc writer doesn't allow punctuation yet in version 1, so I've just got to quickly go through and add the quotations around the surrounding lines that I've inputted with my doc writer. Okay, so it's nothing major, it's just a few things that you'll need to add if you were following along with me. It's just quotation marks around January, February, March through April, as I couldn't use punctuation, the double quotation syntax within my batch file. Okay, so bear with me, just follow along, just do what I'm doing, and your program will run successfully also. This is not a problem from the C++ side, it's just I couldn't use the syntax within the program I created, as my program's only in version 1, but soon will be released. A copy of the source code for this application will be in the link in the description. Feel free to download it along with the batch for auto doc writer that I've written. That's pretty much got it. So I hope this has helped and you have followed along successfully and easily. As the lessons progress, we'll get into some harder stuff. This is just showing the basics of the syntaxes and also the methods and stuff used within C++. Okay, so we just finish off writing the quotation marks surrounding the strings. There's only 6 or 7 lines to go, and you'll be able to test your program. If it has errors or anything, leave a comment in the description. It's no problem. Happy to respond. Or I'm on Facebook and Twitter and Skype. Links are all in the description. Okay, that's got it. Okay, so this app we've covered iteration, variables, data types, multiple data types, single dimension arrays, and that's pretty much got it. In the next lesson, we'll be covering multi-dimensional arrays, enums, boolean, unions, and probably whatever else I can think of at the time. Thank you for watching. Okay, so this is the code, how it should appear. It's in the description. This is what we've completely coded from start to finish, and now we compile it using code blocks. And the top start button, let's get all these other windows out of the way, the top play button, which will debug and decode the compiler, will run the application. Okay, now I'll just give you a brief rundown as the beginning intro of the video was showing the output of the program and what it does. Okay, so our output, remember, with the iteration January, February, March, April, May, and they all get stored. It checks which is the highest, which is the lowest, and which is how much total is out for the month. Hit the subscribe button now to follow my channel. Thank you for watching. I'm Hack Mods.